Hello everyone, Subrat again, and in this week's video I'm going to cover pain. Well, I made a lot more video about pain, but pain in general, it is very complicated. If you know, I'm the chronic pain expert, and that is non-invasive, drug-free, all natural chronic pain. So pain is such a thing. If you ask 100 people, they will have different ideas. And that's okay because they are thinking or whatever is their experiences that they are going to talk about. Personally, I'm talking about, I've been to school almost like 30 years back. That does not mean that I'm not learning every day or I'm not going to different type of courses or anything like that. That's what I do every single day, every single year. But as far as pain is concerned, when I was going to physical therapy school 30 years back, whatever we learned and what I know now, that is a lot more difference. That is absolutely 360. So it is quite different. And this is going to be multi-part, multi-series video. So please bear with me because this is actually a very, very difficult topic because you already have your own thinking in your mind. So whenever I talk to you or you watch this video, it might sound different but it is just bear with me. I will try my best to simplify and try to explain everything to you. So when we has pain, we have some kind of ideas. It is a sensation. Okay? Before even we understand pain, we need to think about our body first. Because pain is just one symptom. So in order to understand pain, we need to get back. Let's step back for a second and think about our body. If you think our body is just a body, so before we get to the body, we need to step back a little bit further and we think about our human being. So in a human being, the big kind of the word is being. And the being is not just body. And that is the key difference. So as we are all, we are not just body. Yes, I understand. You agree with me that we have a body. That's correct. You have a body, I have a body, we all have body. That is absolutely right. But we are not the whole being. Body is not the whole being. There is more to the body. Now what is more to the body? We have a mind. Well, you might jokingly say that you lost your mind or you don't know where your mind is. Your mind is elsewhere, but at least you have a mind. So now we agree that being in human, like human being, so being is not just the body. We are dealing with not only body, we are dealing with mind. But now, last but not the least, in the being, there is another thing we call as a spirit. Now, spirit is the one which most of the people I talk to during workshops and all our patients, they do agree they have a mind and there is a body, and the spirit sometimes can be taken in a religious way. Depending which religion you are from, it does not really matter. But here, we are not here to discuss religion. We are talking the science behind a condition. We are trying to understand. And that is why it is very important to understand what is that the spirit means. To make it as a simplistic as we can, imagine we break down a human being, we break it down to the smallest particle. Ultimately, we are going to get to some kind of atom or some atomic particle. Like we break our muscles and our tissue into smaller parts. Ultimately, we get into the atom. So as for Einstein, everything else is energy. So in other way, we can say that we are just full of energy. And what is the evidence that we are full of energy? Well, if you have been before, you do EEG, ECG. These are all the electrical activities that a machine reads that your body produces. And now let's take MRI. So MRI, it is the magnetic resonance imaging. So that has to be an opposite magnetic field resonating with another magnetic field to produce an image. So yes, the machine is producing magnetic field, but that should be another magnetic field so that it can produce resonance. So our body produces magnetic energy. So that's what as a whole, as an energetic being, that is called as the spirit. So now we know our body is not just body, it is body, it is a mind, and it is a spirit. And all those three are the major component being as a whole, the way we are. So that is extremely important to understand. But why I have to say all this thing, in order to understand pain, we have to look into all these angles as a whole. We cannot just focus on the body. Let's, for the discussion's sake, we take three components, mind, body, and spirit, and we divide it into kind of thirds. So 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, like, okay? So if we are focusing on 1/3, that is only the body, to understand one thing, that is the pain, and that's what we are going to treat. And just for this argument, we will be wrong 2/3% of the time. And our understanding is not going to be whole. That's exactly what happened when I went to physical therapy school. So we are learning about all this body and all this pathway, this, that, but nobody ever told the connection because mind and the spirit to understand any of the disease process. But remember, in maybe it will be another video I made in the past where I say only 2 to 3% of the problem or the diagnosis or the pain, it is produced externally. 97-98% of the time, all this problem happens, it is actually internal. Your body is not in the right way, so it creates all these things. So basically, we have to consider mind, body, and spirit in case if we want to understand the pain per se. So if I say so when you are talking about pain, that should be then component of physical, then there is a component of mind, that is body, there's a mind, and there is a component of spirit. So that is the baseline I'm going to give you for understanding further about the pain. So pain is what it is. It is just a sensation. So the sensation, in order to understand, we need to understand a little bit more what I'm talking about this sensation. Like for example, if I'll ask you how you see anything, you're probably going to say, well, I see through my eyes. Then if I ask you how you hear, you'll say, well, I have ears, that's how I hear. So if I ask you how you taste, you say, well, I'll taste to my tongue or in my mouth. Or how you feel, you say, well, I feel in my skin. And the truth is, you do not see through your eyes. You do not hear through your ear. You do not feel anything from your skin. So what I am talking about, what is what the eye is, what is the ear is, and how the skin is, what I'm talking about. These actually, they do nothing. They only gather data. Yes, you heard it right. They only gather data. So if I can gather up a bunch of data and give it to you, it is not going to make any sense to you. It is going to make some letters, maybe numbers. It will be very, very random. So data gathering does not mean anything. So in order to understand data, you need to have a contest and you need to have a formula or some program to run the data so that it is going to make sense. So your eyes actually collects the visual data. That's about it. And when you hear, whenever you hear anything, also your ear collects data, your skin collects data, and all this data has to make sense to you, not to me. It could be the same data, and the data is processed by your central computer or your CPU, that is your brain. So the brain has to make sense what it means to you. So let me give you one example. Like for example, you are walking down the street, okay? And you are just walking down with your dog or whatever, and you suddenly smell something is barbecuing or whatever, and it's probably some hamburger is getting barbecued. So you smell, maybe you can see some smoke is coming out from somebody's backyard, something like that. So of course you smell and maybe you see something, but that is going to mean a lot more to you, because maybe you love hamburger. So that smell, when you hear, you maybe get hungry. You see how many things your brain is interpreting? Not only you are getting hungry, your mouth is salivating. Now your brain is doing the calculation. Or so, oh, I know who is that coming from. So then you remember, oh, I almost forgot. I was invited for a cookout tonight. So see how many calculation your brain is doing. But in the other hand, suppose me, I'm walking down the road and I smell some hamburger is cooking and I'm actually vegetarian. So I might not feel the same way how you feel. So all this data get collected and it make it usable for you. So that is why, so when we are talking about pain, that is the important part we need to understand. That all these senses, what we talk about 5 senses, actually we have much more than that. When the senses are not interpreted properly, we see a lot of children here that we call as a sensory processing disorder, because they cannot process sensation the way it is supposed to be sensed. So that we call as a sensory processing disorder. So all these senses has to be interpreted by your brain and it make it useful to you. So that is very important to understand. So far what I talked about, we are talking about pain. And again, we are talking about our body. Our body is the most complicated, we can call that as a machine, but I don't like to call our body as a machine. But if we understand that way, the most complicated, and many of these things we don't even know yet. We are still yet to know. And now if you have a simplistic view, and we take a simplistic view about pain, yeah, I get hurt, I have pain, I am going to fix it, that is the wrong way to go. That is the reason almost like 120 people die every single day, because we don't know much about pain and we are about to discover all these beautiful things about pain. And I'm going to continue this video in my next section. So if you like this video, share with your friends and family. You like it, because when you share, more and more people will be able to understanding. They can make the right decision to go in the right way. Thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful day.